Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the My High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're here with another Wednesday episode sponsored by Gray Fox Games, our awesome Wednesday sponsors.
Woo.
Woo.
I don't think I sound anything like Zach.
Yeah, I agree, but also
No one else does.
no one else does. We do sound like white guys, so...
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know. It's one of those weird things, too, where, you know, how your voice sounds different when you listen to it on a recording because, like, it doesn't have all the vibration of your body that your ears normally pick up when you speak.
Yeah.
Correct.
So maybe that's part of it. Like, maybe if you don't know your own voices and you just listen to it on audio, maybe it sounds different.
Well, Jeff would never listen to the podcast, so...
He
I've
did
listened
once.
twice.
Twice.
The episodes I wasn't on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't even know how you sound on the episodes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You might sound just like Zach by
like
the time the processing's done.
Yeah, it could be just, it's, you
We
know what, it's all,
compress the shit out of it.
it's all the processing
Yep.
that makes us sound alike.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to remember how many people listen to us at like 1.5 to 2x,
Yeah.
at which point we just all sound like chipmunks.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Some at 2.25.
How can you... I just don't get it. I think I've said before, like, I've tried, like, 1.1 speed, like, any amount, and I'm like...
10% faster.
Nope, can't deal with it.
well then, what's everybody been up to?
E3's going on.
It
E3
is.
is going on.
I have caught up on all the press conferences that have aired so far.
Yeah.
Square Enix is starting like right now.
Yep. They're doing an Avengers game, right?
I think so. We're missing out right now.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I did watch and make all of you watch the Devolver Digital 2017 and 2018 press conferences
Correct.
because I watched the 2019 one yesterday and I was like,
Very confused.
what is this madness? And it has been mad for at least 2 years and gotten better ever since.
Well then.
Microsoft was pretty good. I'm getting PC games for $5 a month.
I'll probably get on that, too.
Ubisoft's was pretty shit. They have their own Game Pass for $15 a month, but it's just Ubisoft games. And who wants to just play Ubisoft games? I guess they have those Assassin's Creeds
Yeah.
and Just Dances.
Doesn't really seem worth it.
Yeah.
Isn't that Ghost Recon? Is Ubisoft too?
Yeah, but I don't
Yeah.
know if I'd pay $15 a month to be able to play it.
No, I agree with that. I'm just
Yeah.
wasn't sure.
Bethesda's was like, we're sorry for Fallout 76.
They're adding NPCs to it or something
Yeah,
like
they're
that.
adding NPCs and like quest lines and stuff.
Too little, too late.
Yes, I have no want to play Fallout 76.
It was pretty, but it was fucking boring.
It
Did
is
you play it?
Fallout.
I played it during the beta.
Okay. They're doing a free trial right now that I do not want to try.
Is it with the NPCs?
The NPCs
and-
don't come out until like this fall, so no.
Well, give me a free trial then, and then like a 50% discount if I
Oh, it's
decide
been
to buy it.
Extremely discounted already. You could probably found that game for $10, $15 at one point.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
They're adding a battle royale to Fallout 76.
I heard about that.
Hard
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah.
That was like one of the worst things about it was, you know, they made it open world, so other people were in it, which people have been asking for cooperative Fallout for a long time.
Yeah.
Multiplayer at least, you know, but the combat in 76 was fucking shit.
Yeah, it was just like, here's an MMO combat, not real Fallout combat.
And even then it was bizarre because like somebody could just like, oh, you're attacking me? Oh, I have a bunch of resources on me. Let me build a couple turrets. And
Yeah.
now they're fighting you too.
Mhm.
Fuck you. This is my base.
And you took a lot less damage if you didn't fire back or something.
Yeah, so you could just, oh, they're attacking me. I'll build some turrets that will defend my base from whoever's attacking me, but I'm not attacking them.
Yeah.
And it was dumb.
So it was a lot of like, we're sorry, but also a lot of like, people were real shitty to them, like beyond a certain level.
Oh, yeah.
Like-
I don't doubt it.
like,
It's the
oh,
internet.
Thanks, Internet, for sending me a picture of my house that someone took because they know where I live now. That's great.
Yeah, the internet is fucking terrible for that
Yeah,
shit. Like,
real bad.
don't be a piece of human garbage and actually harass someone.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine to talk about how much it's a shit game and it's fuck awful, but don't like harass the developers,
No.
you know, and especially like a lot of them probably didn't have a whole lot of say in it. You know, this is something that came higher up. I don't know. I think that's out of control.
Yes.
I saw the new trailer, the E3 trailer for Metro 2033.
Metro Exodus?
Is it Exodus?
Metro Exodus is the most recent Metro game.
No. What's the 2030?
Cyberpunk 2077?
Cyberpunk 2077. Yes.
That's
Not the
one.
post-apocalyptic Soviet nuclear
No.
bunker one.
No.
Oh, the weird, awesome
The Keanu
Cyberpunk.
Reeves one.
CD Projekt Red,
Yes.
who I
Yeah.
couldn't remember earlier, the new CD Projekt Red
Yes.
game. Yes. That looks like it might be good.
Yeah. Yeah. That
It's
looks
first
like
person, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
yes.
I don't know.
Third
Like,
person driving. I think everything else is
Okay.
first person.
yeah, because I don't. RPGs that are shooter RPGs just feel weird to me a lot.
I love Deus Ex, and this seems like Ultra Deus Ex.
That
I
so-
did
that is
really
very
like
true.
Deus Ex. Well, Human Revolution, because that's the only Deus Ex I've played.
I've played the first one, and then
Did you play the second one?
Second one that was basically an Xbox game,
Yeah.
and then I played Human Revolution, and then there was the fourth one that was not good. I think
I don't know.
Yeah, so I played Human Revolution, which I did actually really like.
that was very good.
So,
I didn't ask for this. Is that?
Yeah, mhm.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it.
yeah, so Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes. Hmm.
I don't know why I think Metro.
I don't have any idea.
I don't know. But I liked the original trailer that had been out for a while that actually showed like some like
This one was
sort of
definitely just
gameplay. This was just like a
a
cinematic trailer.
CG trailer story.
It's like the intro, probably the intro to the game. Like it looks like because you play as that
Yeah,
character.
I would bet it is.
Mhm.
And then
they had to show that Keanu Reeves was going to be in it.
yeah, and that was badass. He came out
See,
on,
that kind of was like the down point for me. Like having Keanu.
I don't know how much of a wrong opinion you could possibly have right now.
My brother said the same thing. My brother then
Said
went.
you had a very wrong opinion.
Oh yeah, he went on
Yeah.
a big tirade about how dare you say Keanu didn't belong in a video game. He belongs wherever he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think so Cyberpunk 2077 is like an RPG world, I think.
Yes.
Um,
but it was like 2022 or 20.
Yeah, it's a paper pencil universe. And there's
Okay.
a character called like Johnny Silverhand, and people think he's that character from like really long time ago, and he's like a fucking guitar player
Nice.
with a robot hand.
Okay.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be that exact character, but that would be awesome.
Keanu Reeves can play the bass, so
Oh, yeah, he has a band.
he does.
So I'm real, and then he came out on stage and talked,
Yeah,
and was awesome.
The most wholesome.
The most wholesome. I think someone yelled out, "You're beautiful."
Well, no, he was just like just being a part, like being in this world is just breathtaking. And then someone goes, "You're breathtaking."
Oh, that's right. And he's like, "You're all breathtaking."
Yeah. Yep.
And apparently, the guy who yelled "You're breathtaking" is getting a copy of the like collector's edition of the
Yeah.
game.
Which
Yeah.
is like $250.
One of the things my brother said is the fact you don't like Keanu Reeves seriously bothers me, and he sent me that link to that
Uh-huh.
guy yelling. That.
Exactly.
That was probably the best part of E3
Uh-huh.
so far is
Yes.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
And then I don't know. There's a new Xbox coming out next year or something.
Yep.
Who cares? I don't have a 4K TV. I have a really nice 1080 TV.
That'd sound nice if it's not 4K.
Well, it was $1,500 when I bought it. So 120 frames per second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Electronic 3 continues.
Indeed.
Hasn't even started yet. Doesn't even start till tomorrow.
That's
It's
right.
It's just press conferences.
Yep. And a lot of those press conferences were things that weren't a part of E3.
Yes.
Yeah, so it'll be ridiculous. I'm sure we'll talk about it again next week
Yeah.
with more
Nin-
releases.
yeah.
and stuff.
Nintendo will be coming around and Square
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ubisoft sucks. Fuck you, Frenchies.
Right.
Just had to mix some nationalism in there.
Yeah. The guy, actually, the company is from France, and they almost got taken over by Vivendi.
Yep.
Hostile takeover, and they came out of it on top. And actually, they make really good games. But their press conference was really bad.
I'll take your word for it.
Cool. Anything else anybody get up to the last week or so?
Yes. Because we're already talking about video games.
Yeah.
You were talking up Void Bastards.
Yes.
So I ended up buying it.
Nice.
I played about 48 minutes of it.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, hey, Steam, can I get a refund on this?
Oh, ouch.
And I think I'm just getting tired of playing first person games.
Okay.
And so for whatever reason, it wasn't clicking. I was like, this seems like it'd be a good game, but I was just like, I'm tired of first person. So
Fair enough.
yeah.
Megan and I bought Raft, speaking of video games. Early access survival game on Steam.
What's it called?
Raft.
Oh, yeah.
So you just start on a little square raft in the middle of the ocean, and a shark is immediately trying to eat you.
Yes.
And you just have to like scavenge things that kind of float by, like wood and
The Sharkanoid
Um,
Simulator.
and
Sharkanoids.
plastic, and then you use that to build bigger and bigger things. And like eventually you get your ship built up enough to where like you have a paddle and you can build a sail, so you can like kind of direct it, and so then you can see like islands and things off in the distance that you can go to, and eventually you can get like a really big raft that has animals on it and all of this. There's not really an end game currently, I don't think. It's just like
It's
keep
early
doing
access.
that for a while, but it's very early access. But we've been enjoying it. She super loves it, especially because she got a llama on her raft, and so she's very excited that there's
That
a llama.
llama's gonna be dead.
That shark is gonna eat the fuck out of that llama.
Yeah, it's gonna be very tasty. When was the last time you think in real life that a shark ate a llama? I'm not sure they
been
cross.
a while.
I'm not sure they cross.
But I wouldn't
No.
discount it. I would not
I
discount
feel llama's
it.
a real high altitude animal of some sort.
I mean,
Not a lot of
it
beach.
can, but
not a lot of beach or swimming llamas.
if you bring it to the coast, it's not going to just explode due to the atmosphere.
no. But
No, of course not. It won't explode. It will implode.
Exactly.
its range is usually fairly high altitude, though.
I think it's natural habitat, yes.
Yes.
But they have been widely moved because, people, I don't know.
Yeah, llama
them
farms for
for, like,
wool.
wool.
And, yeah.
But I've heard that they're real shitty.
They-
For like pack animals and things. Like a llama is actually a really shit pack animal, to the point where like when Megan was in South America and they went on a big hike up to Machu Picchu, she took like one of the roundabout ones, and they like even there where alpacas are like indigenous, llamas are indigenous. They were like, nah, we're gonna use donkeys because donkeys are actually a good pack animal.
Okay.
Llamas and/or alpacas are both pretty shit at
Gotcha.
being a pack animal.
I was confused by what you meant by pack animal. I was thinking like pack of wolves,
Yes.
like a pack of llamas.
Yeah, a pack of llamas.
Not specifically.
A pack of feral llamas.
Not specifically a load-bearing animal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so I would imagine the last time a shark ate a llama would be when somebody was moving a pack of llamas in a boat that like got in a storm and either sank and all the llamas ended up in the water and got eaten, or like one of them got washed overboard.
or the llamas took over the boat and then realized that they were inept at piloting and then crashed into an island.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And that's
So,
how the llamas ended up in Indonesia.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, that's it.
Someone fact check that for me.
Anyway, we've been enjoying Raft.
Yes. And its llama shark intricacies.
Yes. As well as a rock, like ROC bird.
Yes.
I don't know if that's actually what it's called, but we call it that because it's a giant bird.
Yes.
2, it's a giant dick,
Uh-huh.
not literal dick.
No.
And 3, it drops rocks on your head. So it's got to be a rock, right?
Uh-huh.
Real annoying.
Yeah.
Sharks and rocks fucking you up.
Yep.
Boars are also real annoying. 3 different animals, land, sea, and air, just
Yep.
combining to fuck you in that game.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But-
What you do is you just build yourself a room in the raft and you just stay in there until you die from starvation.
Yep. And then you don't have to play again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go out on your own terms.
This is
Yep.
this is how I choose to go.
Exactly.
No shark will eat me. I built a bunch of inserts for my board games.
Yeah.
I've had that Feast for Odin insert sitting around since Gloomhaven's
Mhm.
insert came out. Not the Broken Token one, the Meeple Reality one. So the Feast for Odin insert is organized and in just in time for the expansion to
Yep.
sit next to it on the shelf.
Yep.
I built the Scythe insert for my Artist Connoisseur edition
Ooh.
of Scythe. Put that all together. Everything's in there. It's got like a really cool, like clear acrylic for the resource trays, like a lid for them.
Okay.
Everything fits real nice. Broken Token does some good work.
Yes, they do.
Um,
Do you get the Mystic Veil one too?
I also got the Mystic Veil one. Built the Conclave. Comes with a bunch of the Conclave itself comes with a bunch of like dividers. The insert does as well. Everything fits real nice in there. I forgot Conclave came with like special that's where the Conclave comes from it, where it's like special Veil cards and cards to start out with that give you different themed mechanics during the game.
Okay.
So they're like starter sets.
Oh, nice.
And there's like 20 of those.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I totally forgot that came with it because I haven't looked at the Conclave box since I opened it up, found a rubber band and one piece of foam, and I was like, fuck this.
No.
Yeah. So I built a bunch of inserts. They're all very well organized now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now I just need the legendary Scythe box, and then I need to buy the legendary insert that will hold the second expansion and the campaign expansion.
Right.
And I could put my fancy box lid on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I haven't played the game since I bought the additional 5 and 10 coins. And I just realized they're just colored versions of the already there 5 and 10 coins. Because the 5 and 10, they're just silvery gray coins. And then the fancy ones I got are just like colored versions of those.
Nice.
Yeah. I have more of them.
Yes,
now.
you do. I feel like that's the major reason you got them.
Yeah. I think those, and then there wasn't any 2s or 50s. And so they added, maybe it was like 3s and 50s, but they added those too.
Okay.
That box is much heavier now.
Not surprised.
Yeah. So insert land complete.
Cool.
The reason I got them because they were having like a 20% off sale over Labor Day.
Yeah, and you had that 5 or 10% off coupon.
Then I had another 10% off coupon because I had the Conclave one in my hand at Geekway, and I was like, no, I'll hold off. And then he was like, oh, here's a coupon that's good for a couple weeks, and then stacked them both.
Nice.
Yeah. It's probably the cheapest I'm going to get a broken token.
Ever.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I haven't really been up to anything else outside of a little bit of video gaming and everything. So I think it's a good chance to move over to some actual board game stuff because we've played board games
In mass. With lots of people in one place. Some would say too many people in one place.
Yeah.
That should have had reserved tables.
And not had 2 other events going on at the same time.
So we're starting with game night,
Yes.
where I was super salty. Sorry if anybody who listens to the show was there and I was grumpy. I was upset because this venue has been on my back about like, hey, when can we get you back in? Hey, when can we want you to be in here like monthly. How can we get you monthly? And
Not like this.
And I was like, all right, fine. Like you've got really good patio space. We'll go every other month during the summer because, like Debolt's attendance has been dipping. People have been wanting something else, and we go to Debolt every month. So I was like, well, we'll take Debolt to every other. We'll mix them in between. It'll be a nice little rotation going back and forth. And they were totally on board with that. And they were like, yeah, we're down for that. Let us know, when like we could maybe go to monthly instead of every other month. And I was like, oh, we'll see how this goes. I'll let you know. And then they triple booked us.
Yes, they did.
And it's not the first time they've done shenanigans like that. And
is it going to be the last?
he hasn't replied to me being like, dude, what the fuck? So yeah, probably going to be the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had one group who took up one entire patio.
An entire patio was there
for like no one. I never saw anyone back there. Like I saw the people running the like quote unquote event, like sitting by the sign to the patio, but I never saw anybody actually like go into the patio.
Yeah.
Then they had one of the biggest tables in there, which is like just 3 of their medium ones pushed together, but it's a decent amount of table space.
It's 10, 12 people.
That was reserved for a group at 6.
30.
Well, it said 6 on the sign, so we got there at like 5:30, and nobody used it for an hour because they're like, "Oh, we only have 30 minutes." And then at like 6:15, I was like, "Hey, what's up with that table?" It's like 15 minutes after it said it was reserved, and they're like, "Oh no, they're scheduled for 6:30. We put it out so that it'll be clear by 6, so that there's I was like, okay, well, fuck you." And then they were just normally busy, and then they had
as they always are,
as they usually tend to be. And so, yeah, it was really frustrating.
And they reserved no tables for us.
No tables for us.
Nope.
So, yeah, real unhappy about that. And then at the end of the night, I went up to close out my tab before, like there were still plenty of people there, and they'd already went through and closed and auto-graded every check.
Really?
Yeah. So they closed and auto-graded my tab, too.
Great.
Yeah. So much to just not be happy about.
Impressive.
But anyway, that was not related to the games we played.
No. We were able to actually play games.
I did also play one of the goddamn worst games I've ever played. It was Battle Kittens, and it's like a kind of set collection area control, I guess. You like it's like Smash Up, where like there's locations that you're trying to battle over, but unlike Smash Up where you take turns like playing to them, it's like you draft a set of cards, 7 cards, and then you secretly divide that into 3 piles that correspond with the 3 bases. And then you go around and, all right, first base, everybody reveal the army you made for this first base. Who won? Okay, you won. You get points. Who got second? Okay, you get points. Third, maybe you do, maybe you don't. It depends. Okay, next one. Okay, third one, done. All right, let's shuffle it all up and let's do that again 2 more times. And then whoever has the most points wins. It was fucking boring, and I don't need any more cutesy little kitten-themed games in my life. Like, that's a theme that I think I actively dislike. There's not a lot of themes I actively dislike. I think cutesy little kittens that are doing battle or, doing non-kitten thing, or even doing kitten things. Just no.
You're just hating on cats.
I don't even know if it's so much cats. Like, I could see, liking a cat-themed game. Like, if there's, Wingspan, but it was cats. I don't know how that would work, because cats don't have, different nests and different habitats or...
cheetahs versus snow leopards.
Felines, not cats at that point.
Yeah.
But I would be fine with something like that, especially if it was good, authentic art. But I don't need some, cutesy little anthropomorphic art with a ninja kitten or, shit like that. Get that the fuck out of here. That game also caught me right in the heat of my, being pissed off at the situation last night. So it didn't work.
Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Last Wednesday night.
Yeah. But it was all redeemed, mostly redeemed, because I also got to play Tokyo Metro with actual other players, not solo. And I really liked it. It played pretty well, explained pretty well.
Part of that Tokyo series that you were talking about last week.
Jake from Draft Mechanic traded me the Tokyo series, the first 3 of the Tokyo series for my Great Western Trail, which was a great trade in my opinion now, especially now that I've played Tokyo Metro. No, it's actually legitimately good.
And I still have Great Western Trail, so.
Oh, you didn't give it to him?
No, he has his.
I own Great Western Trail.
Oh. Good,
Hey, we just stole those games from him.
I was like, wait, he gave you those but didn't take Great... Well, I didn't know if it was oh, here's these games for Adrian. You're like, okay, I'll give you Great Western Trail later, and then you just fucking forgot.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just also own Great Western Trail.
That'd be funny if it was.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, good, because I've been wanting to give it another shot, and
Yes.
it was I was kind of bummed, because I'd been putting it in my game night bag even. But anyway, I'm not talking about Great Western Trail.
No.
Played Tokyo Metro. It was a little bit of a rough explanation, because I had only played the solo, and there's a couple things you don't really do in solo, so I didn't know how they worked. But overall, people got the idea of it, and we were able to play through, and everybody seemed to like it. I think it took us 2.5 hours to play.
Yeah, I don't remember what I was doing, but I saw you guys pulling that out. I was just like, that seems long.
Yeah, several people came by and wait, what? And even Paul at one point came by an hour into the game. It was geez, you guys have been here for forever. I bet this game's going to go forever. And I was like, we've been going for an hour, and it's actually getting pretty close to the end of the game. So no.
No?
Seemed like you were there for a long time. Hours, some would say.
Yes.
I mean, technically, yeah. It was probably like I said, with Teach, 2.5 to 3 hours. I think with people who know the game and not at game night, you could easily knock that out in an hour to an hour and a half, which would be a great speed for that game. Really liked it. I ended up winning, which also helps. I like to win. And then the last game that I played that I'll talk about before I kick it over to you two was today. And it actually delayed starting the recording a little bit. But we, and by we, I mean Mike Jones, Paul, Lance, and Blaze. Lance, and Blaze all got together. 2 of us already had Monday off. The other 3 took Monday off. And the 5 of us got together. We met for breakfast at 7:30. And then we went over to Paul's house at about 8:39-ish to set up and play High Frontier 3rd Edition. And
boy, did you ever.
There were mistakes that were made, namely trying to play 5-player game with 4 new players with every single add-on module.
Why the fuck?
Why the fuck would you do that in that game?
Oh my god.
Whose idea was that?
It was Paul's, wasn't it?
It was Blaze.
It was Blaze.
You should have smacked him in the mouth.
Well, so he gave us. So we've been planning this for 3 weeks, so people could have time, make sure to get the Monday off. And he sent us all the living rules, a bunch of videos, walkthroughs, player aids, everything. It was you guys need to read this stuff so you have a little bit of an understanding. It'll make the game go way better.
It did not make the game go better.
It did, but the main mistakes that were made, in my opinion, and some of this was my fault. I will own the fact we played with 5 players was my fault, because me, Blaze, and Paul were in, and I wasn't sure how many people it played. And before I checked on BGG how many people I should play with, I just invited Lance and Mike Jones, thinking that both of them would be available. And then they both were, which is great because I like both of them. But then it was like, oh, we're playing at 5 now. How many does it play? Okay, it plays 5. Cool. Wait, how many does BGG say it plays? And BGG says 1 to 4 with best at 3. So playing with 5 was probably a little bit of a mistake, especially with 4 of them being new players who had to like learn things.
Yeah.
And then the one of the very few like in the rules things that we didn't play with was the quick start option.
Jesus Christ. Oh, God, I'm so glad I said no to that.
I don't know if anyone even bothered to ask me, but I would have said no very quickly.
Yeah, well, I thought we were meeting we were supposed to be like meeting at 8. We were supposed to have breakfast at 7 and meet at 8. I didn't get to breakfast until 7:30. We didn't really get...
Weird. It's have you not been present for all the other times we try and plan for shit?
Oh no, even still starting at 9.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be the 120 to 240 it says on BGG.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be like a 6 to 7 hour game. And so starting at 9, I'd be done at 4.
Uh-huh.
I did not expect it to be 9 hours later and nowhere near ending.
Of course, yeah. I would have put down money that's what would have happened.
So
give us a little rundown of exactly what this game is.
So High Frontier 3rd Edition is basically space exploration, the game, but with real physics and everything.
High science.
Yeah, so it's a Phil Eklund game. So he's known for a lot of the Bio series. He's done a lot of the PAX games, Iceland, Greenland, and he's known for a lot of his games being almost more simulation than game. And High Frontier definitely fits that mold.
Like the Bios Genesis game that we
Bios Genesis that we played. Yeah, gets really into the weeds. Also, side note, has some really shitty personal politics that unfortunately does bleed into his games through flavor text.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's got some out there ideas.
Okay.
But, so High Frontier takes place some amount of time into the future, mostly similar current state of Earth in that, you play as one person's NASA, one person's the UN, one person is the Chinese Space Agency. Somebody can be Russia. Paul was SpaceX in this game. Different companies and or countries' space programs. And you are building rocket ships and then launching them throughout the solar system to go search for resources on planets and asteroids all throughout the solar system. If you find resources, you can then build factories, and then factories you can build into colonies, and you do all of that stuff until in the base game, the normal way that the game ends is when the 7th factory gets built. The game will end. We are playing with the alternate endings, which I actually, when we met up this morning, I was like, are we really going to play with those? Because in the rules, it mentions that they add 1 hour per player.
Oof.
And Blaze was like, oh, yeah, no, that's not really accurate. They don't add that much.
9 hours later.
No one was even close to getting the first of the 4 required stars claimed to have ended the game that way. We did, at least when I left, at 5
player.
When I left at 5:40. When I left at 5:40, there were 6 of the 7 required factories on the board to end it via the base rules.
So it was vaguely close by base rules.
By base rules, which we had officially turned to. Blaze was even like, oh, well, we're only 1 factory away. Let's just play to the end. And I was like, Zach and Jeff are already on their way to my house. Mm-hmm. I've got to go. And then Mike Jones took that opportunity to be like, yeah, I'm going to. And then I think, I don't know how much they finished. I don't know if they actually played to that 7th factory or what.
Yeah.
But Lance, Paul, and Blaze were still working on it.
Gotcha.
Overall, I really like the game. I want to try it with that quick start mode because...
And with less players?
And with less players. So next, I want to try it with 3 or 4. Ideally, I'd like to swing the other way and try 3 and see if 3 makes the auction too uninteresting and too not a lot going on. And then maybe go back to 4 once I've had a chance there. And then I want to play with the quick start because easily the worst thing about the game for me was the first 3 hours, nobody could do anything because we were still getting all of the components to launch our rockets. And playing with the advanced modules, it's not just like, oh, I need a launcher that might need like, that's all you really need is like a launcher module, you know, like, and then you can get, what are the other two? Because there's only like 3 components in the base game that you can research. The advanced game we were playing with adds like 3 more, and some of them require other ones. So instead of like just needing a launcher that needs a generator, now you need a launcher that needs a generator. The generator needs a reactor and a heat sink. And so you've got to get all these different parts. And you can, at least when you research one, like if you research a thruster that needs a generator and a heat sink of its own, you get the top card off of both those decks, but they might not match the specific type of heat sink or generator that you need. So then you've got to go and try and get another one of those, and money's real tight at the start. And so the first part of the game drug on until we were finally like, I don't know, we were like 8-9 turns into the game before somebody was like, I can launch a rocket.
That was Paul.
And it was Paul. It was a race to like launch the first one, and Paul did manage to pull that off.
I feel like you should have been like, all right, good game, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the future, just play it over like a long weekend and just stop right there. All right, game 1 done. We'll come back in this exact situation for game 2 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then game 2 will go until the first factory gets built.
Sounds like a sweet bachelor party weekend.
Yeah. I did really like it though. It wasn't nearly as dry and like simulation-y as BIOS was. Like BIOS, you really didn't feel like you were playing a game. At least this one, you felt like you were playing a game. There's a ton of negotiation, which is really nice. You can cut all kinds of deals that may or may not be binding
or fulfilled
or anything. And it can be ridiculous shit like, hey, let me use your custom power, like your player power for a turn. I'll give you a bunch of money. Like at one point, Lance gave me 8 money to use my ability and then didn't use my ability. And I was like, I'm okay with this.
Wow.
Or no, he did. He did end up using it, but he almost didn't.
Okay.
But still, he gave me like 8 money for it, which is great because money's tight in this game. But yeah, I really liked it. I want to play again. We are currently planning on playing a 4-player game, I think, 4th of July.
Who decided not to join?
Lance is not in town for the 4th of July, so we didn't have to forcefully kick someone out. He was like, oh, I'm really sorry, guys. Like, and we're like, no, it's fine. We wanted to play with less people, and this way we don't have to be like, sorry, you're left out.
So quick start.
None
of the bullshit modules.
Well, no, we'll still play with most of the modules, honestly. Especially now that we know the game, because really the biggest thing they add time-wise is people who don't know the game needing to like understand what each of them do and how they work together. I think now that we understand,
you got a solid 9 hours into that.
Yeah. I didn't even get to fulfill my goal. Like at the start, we were joking. Like in one of the player aid things he sent, somebody was like, just remember the goal isn't to win in this one; it's just to have fun. Maybe like if you decide to try and get a rocket to Pluto and you succeed, you can be happy in that, even if you don't end up winning. And I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a rocket to Pluto. I didn't even make it past the asteroid belt. So
impressive.
Yeah. But I liked it. It was fun. I want to play it again. Especially with that quick start variant. And hopefully that will shorten it up. And having some experience, like we'll make better decisions at the start, so we won't be 9 turns into the game before our first rocket launches. And we'll see if that speeds things up and makes the game go better.
Yeah.
But
speeding the game up seems kind of a cornerstone of enjoying this game.
That's going to be key for me because I do not regularly like any game that's going to run 8 or more hours.
Unless it's Twilight Imperium.
Even Twilight Imperium,
yeah.
I like it to be done about 8 hours. I start to get fucking done with Twilight Imperium.
Yeah, if I'm going to play an 8-hour game, it's going to be Twilight Imperium.
Yeah.
Which, this one has a lot of what I like about Twilight Imperium. We didn't play, one of the only modules we didn't play with was combat.
Interesting.
Because according to Blaze, it drags the game on a whole lot even more without adding anything really interesting. So we left that out. But it's got like the exploration, it's got like the trading and deal making and like a little bit of fucking each other over, like, snatching claims or like getting in the way, beating people to things, that kind of stuff. Building up a space fleet, although it's a much less exciting space fleet than, it's not fighters and dreadnoughts and cruisers. It's, I've got a solar sail on this fission reactor that's going very slowly towards Pluto for the next 12 turns.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's about right.
I totally dug it. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. What about you guys? Zach, what have you been playing?
So there are two games in particular that I wanted to talk about. One was Photosynthesis. I finally got a chance to play that with Paul, Kaiser, and Wes. We played 4 players with the advanced variant, which I would not suggest doing, especially for your first time. Not that it was hard to learn the game or anything like that. But yeah, so photosynthesis, you're growing trees, and then when you cut a tree down, when it's fully grown, you get points, right? But the sun moves around in a hexagonal pattern, and so any trees that are casting shadows on other trees mean that those trees can't get sun points, which is like currency, so it's energy. And you use those to plant seeds, grow trees from like saplings to middle to fully grown.
There's like 3 sizes of trees.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Small, medium, large.
Yes. And so the regular variant, you don't get any points for any trees that are in shadows. But the advanced variant is you can't activate any tree. You can't grow any tree or any seed or throw anything into the shade, basically.
Which is 3/4 of the board?
When you're playing with 4 players, there were like 3 spaces where you could do stuff on any given turn, usually.
Wow.
Especially if someone had a level 3 tree like near the edge of the board, it was casting a big shadow on other stuff.
Okay.
So we just felt it was too restrictive. I would still try that at like 2 or 3 players, but with 4 players, I would just do basic, especially because it gives you an extra round, which makes sense because you just don't have the ability to do a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But it was fine. It was a fine game. I think Wes and I ended up tying and then tying on the tiebreaker, so we just both won.
Okay.
Yeah, which I was okay with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would try that one again, but I would never do 4-player advanced again.
Mm-hmm.
So I would hope that, because it definitely felt like you were starting to drag too. So yeah. And the other one that we played, this was on a Friday night. And before that we played a Betrayal that went well, but this one was you had finally found your copy of Warhammer Doomseeker.
My one and only purchase at Gen Con last year.
It was a fancy looking game. It has good art and
great art.
Yeah, great art. Like nice,
good components. All the components had like really good, like dwarfy kind of runes and stuff.
A nice sheen on them too.
Yeah.
So,
and then the art was very old world Warhammer
right
art, which I always love.
Yeah, but I didn't know what the game actually was.
I mean, not many of us did.
None. Yeah, and so then we started looking at it, and we're like, man, this seems familiar. What is this? Oh, it's The Binding of Isaac or Munchkin.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Except even more bullshit.
Even more. Like an insane level of more bullshit.
How the game goes basically is you flip over, like at the start of your turn, you choose a doom you want to fight.
Yeah.
And then you fight it. You put in you choose which one you want to fight, and then everyone can play a card. And those can give get you minus strength, get the monster plus strength, or give you plus strength, or just sort of bet on whether you're gonna win or lose.
And then depending if you win or lose, depending on which cards, you might get a reroll token or an extra fate card, which are the bullshit cards.
Yeah. The theme of the game is basically you're dwarves who have dishonored their house in some way.
You are a dwarven slayer you are a dwarf that either you lost a great treasure or you let a family member die or one of a million different reasons, because like old world Warhammer dwarves are super like OCD.
Gotcha.
And they're like, oh my God, I've been dishonored in some way. I must die. But
right.
Their whole goal is to die in the most glorious fashion possible, killing the most things possible.
Yep. So
you become a slayer.
So that's our goal, is that we're trying to kill as many things as we can until we die to something. And then whoever has the most glory at the end wins.
Yep. And it has a good elimination mechanic.
Yes.
Where if you get eliminated, versus like a
super epic monster,
an epic doom, you actually get 5 points instead of 2 points because your epic death was really awesome or something.
Yeah, you basically are killing them the same time they kill you.
Yeah,
which works well. And then you can sort of bet on people, which is
you can play fate cards and then bet and get points and stuff and renown and things like that.
But the real bullshit is those fate cards, the ones that give the plus strength and minus strength. There are also some that are like, hey, here, get an amount of strength equal to the amount of rune tones, which could be 8 or 9 strength
yes.
out. Here, Jeff, you were gonna fight this guy. Never mind, I'm gonna fight the guy instead.
Yep. And you just don't get to fight anything this turn.
Yeah, you don't get to fight anything this turn. And so I am getting a lot of doom. Killing a lot of things, and I'm getting a lot of money, which means that I'm going to be able to buy things to make it so it's easier for me to fight. And then maybe if those cards were spread out more, that'd be better. But
there's 4 copies of each of them in the game.
And one of our guys had all 4 copies of the copy of that card. Yeah. And he kept getting the ones that let him steal fights from other people.
Yep.
So,
Jesus.
And he had all this, he had 5 axes, because you can have as many axes as you want. You have them in your hair and
you timed your beard and whatever.
And so he had 9 guys killed, and
multiples of those gave him powers, draw more cards at the end of the turn.
Mm-hmm.
So he was going through the whole deck. That's why he had all the great cards.
Yeah.
And he had stolen all of those off of other people.
Exactly. And I came, so he had 16 points. I came second with 7, I think.
I had 2.
And the other guy had 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So near the end of the game, we were just I just want, it's over when either everybody dies or the deck runs out.
Yeah, the deck runs out.
And we were just trying to get that deck done as soon as we can so we could just be
done.
That was definitely one of the worst games I've played in a long time.
Me too. I don't think I've played a worse game in a very long time. It was real bad and needs some extreme revisions to make it even remotely fun.
Yes, agreed.
It is wildly unbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
There's character powers that are wildly unbalanced. Yours was actually probably one of the worst.
Yeah.
Defeat a monster of strength 7 or less and then just fight another one of 7 or less.
Yep.
That's super powerful to just double as many things as you can fight.
And it's super powerful until you get to the
2s or 3s.
And then it's useless.
Yes.
So.
But in that first round, which is 75% of the game, you can get double as much as everyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then everyone else's powers. Mine was if I die on a 4+, I don't die.
And nobody was close to dying, too.
Yeah.
So
cool power, Jeff.
Yeah.
Well, and the other ones was, his was, if there are 4 of the same type of enemy,
get +1 strength.
Get +1 strength, but there are 3 different types of enemies, and there's only 5 cards.
Yep.
So that's a real bullshit one. So it only happened once when it wasn't his turn.
Yeah.
So that's
Warhammer Doomseeker is real trash.
Yeah, real trash.
Yep. Coming to you from Ninja Division.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
All right, what do you play, Jeff? That wasn't that.
On Wednesday at the packed game nights, I pulled out Cabo again.
Uh-huh.
We went up against that railing on the wall.
Yeah, I saw
because that was the only place we could find to play, and it was perfect for Cabo because it's just you have to have 4 cards in front of you. So we played hand to Cabo. Someone hit the 50, and I made a critical error at the very end. I was gonna hit the 100 if I had 9, but I thought I had the lowest with what I had, and I ended up not having the lowest at the end. But if I had not called Cabo and someone else did, I still would have just scored 9 and hit 100 and gone back to 50. So I shouldn't have called Cabo thinking I had the lowest.
Right.
So I pushed it over to, because I got 19. I ended up not having the lowest on calling Cabo and hitting 119, and I think Matt won.
Gotcha. Played
Coup for the first time in a long time. With Kevin, Wendy, and some other people that I don't remember their names. It's fun playing Coup with a new group of people.
Yeah.
That don't really know
there isn't a meta already built in.
Exactly. That was fun. A lot of good calls and stuff happening during the game, which unfortunately does not happen sometimes when you hit that meta of just knowing what everyone has and be I'm not even going to bother calling that. So it was actually an interesting interactive game of Coup.
Gotcha.
And then we played We're Doomed. Yes,
we did. It was Paul got his copy, and so we were able to bring it out and played. I think we played 4 games over the evening.
That sounds right. Jake from Draft Mechanic had also gotten a copy and played. I think his deck either starts out different or Paul looked at his copy or something.
No, I mean it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
because in there, you're not supposed to shuffle.
No,
but I think that's just so you don't see the same things over and over again.
True.
So,
but the first card,
in his
was shuffle the deck.
So I feel like
the first card in ours was different.
Yeah, so I feel like it was just random, or it just I don't think but I don't think that
I just don't know how they make the game.
I mean, I don't know. but
it seems weird that they would all be random in there, or maybe there's different sets.
I mean,
of
there's,
whatever.
but even still, the cards are not going to stay the same order because they're like, especially.
I always just would think that the first card would always be that shuffle the deck card.
Oh, no.
That's more of what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay. It felt like
Yeah.
you're like, no, there's supposed to be some order here, and I was like, I don't.
No, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just thematically really cool if the first card is shuffle the cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know,
I don't know either.
but anyway,
We played it.
we did.
Got some new stuff. I nuked Adrian, which I knew would trigger the Cthulhu entering the game and immediately destroyed 2 other players.
One being you.
One being me and the other being Paul.
Yep.
And Paul was real pissed about that. And I
Yep.
was just like, welcome to this total bullshit game.
Yes.
That's how we started the teach of it. This game
Every time we've introduced someone to the game, we're like, this is bullshit. This is a bullshit game.
Yep.
I need you to understand that.
Yes. Adrian, do you understand? It is total bullshit.
Such a bullshit game.
Yeah, you were very clear about that, both in last week's episode
Yeah.
and before we started playing.
Yes.
It's super bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% is.
It's like the most bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe too much bullshit for me.
I mean, for you, yeah. For
Yeah,
you, yes,
fair.
definitely. I can understand that.
I was starting to. It made 15 minutes. That felt almost as long as Tokyo Metro did that night. It like 5
Wow.
minutes. I would have liked maybe more, but 15 minutes seemed like it was too much bullshit for a quarter of an hour.
Then you
Yeah.
wouldn't have liked a game we played later, which caused the sand timer to be flipped at about 15 minutes and 45 seconds, or 14 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah.
No.
With
And-
like 3 players left.
2
of the 7.
players
Yeah,
left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that game went on too long.
That one went on too long, yeah.
But it continues to be a good game.
Yeah,
Fun game night game.
If you like super bullshit.
Yeah.
yeah.
Megan, I think, liked it more than I did, but even she was kind of like, I played it a few times. I think I'm done with it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. At one point, Wes was taking control of Kevin's actions, and he was going to make Kevin nuke me on his turn.
Uh-huh.
So I was just like, fuck that. I'm just not going to do anything on my turn. And so that made people start counting down. And then so I ended up dying that way so that Kevin had to nuke somebody else. I was like, I'm not giving you the pleasure of nuking me. I'm going out on my own terms.
I'm going to delay until
Yeah.
I die.
Yeah.
I did really like that one of the cards I got early on was that you all had to cheer me and say nice things about me.
That was literally the first card.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Yes.
That card set the tone really well for the
Yeah.
game. I was like, oh.
And there's a
Yeah.
couple. Yeah. I think you hit a lot of real bullshit cards.
Yeah,
Well, the card that I think kind of ruined it for me was, and I think it was the card that came out immediately after mine for the next player, which was everybody has to change their faction every turn. 'Cause
Anarchy.
Then there was no ability to do any kind of rough planning for how,
No.
like,
Oh, no.
I mean, there's very little in that game
Yeah.
anyway, and then that just took it even worse. And I kept trying to get back to this. Like, I liked the science one,
yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah.
and so did everybody else.
Yeah,
And
there's
so
only one
I could never get it back.
There's only one until you play
with
10
10
players. And then you have 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doomed. It's a lot of fun, but still really expensive.
I've heard that it's actually going to be coming out in the next couple weeks, like
Good.
to actual not.
Retail, not
Yeah,
from just.
yeah.
It's available directly from their website for $35, but their shipping is like $15.
Yeah.
So that makes it a $50 game, which
No,
that game is not
No.
worth.
No, but I think it'll be coming to Amazon or maybe like
Cool stuff.
cool
and
stuff or something like that.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah.
would be nice.
Yes.
A cheaper shipping option is all I ask.
Yeah.
So-
Would you ever get your own copy or just good with Paul's?
I would probably get my own
Okay.
copy too. Just it's I would find it useful enough in like a 4-player, 5-player situation to pull out every once in a while.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And it's a small, nice
Yep.
little compact box.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, and then the last thing that we've been playing is at a good old KDM.
Kingdom Death: Monster.
Yes.
KD colon M.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Many colons were perforated in this
Yeah.
campaign of Kingdom Death.
Yeah.
Is it over?
No.
No. So we
No, but yes, but no.
No, but yes. Yes. No, yes-ish. Yes, probably.
Yeah.
So we started our continuing campaign in like Lantern Year 21 or something like that.
Yeah.
with our like awesome badass character and settlement. We spoilers because we're super late campaign in that one. We defeated the Watcher. The Exhausted Lantern Horde was unlocked. We got all of the crazy Final Lantern and like Lantern research shit. And then we immediately went into fighting the Butcher level 3, who is the first nemesis, who just fucking annihilated us.
Hardcore.
Yeah, like our first like hard defeat like that in a long time. The closest was that Gorm level 3 that I really clutch came out with.
Yeah. This one was especially bad. One of his traits is invincible, which whenever you wound him, you roll a die, and then on an 8+, he just doesn't take the wound. So it's a 30% chance of every wound not counting.
Thankfully, I was in the game and was fucking crushing him. Like, I think his invulnerable roll only came up on like 1 or 2 of all the wounds I did.
Yes.
And I did a fair number.
Yeah, no, he definitely focused super. He had like a thing where he hit 5 times, but he had a lot of damage on him, and so it was...
And he's got a bunch of, like, plus accuracy buffs, plus speed, plus move, or just a whole bunch of shit.
And he ended up wounding me in the chest, as per usual, and then killing me there.
I think he rolled a whole 1 on that one.
Yep.
Paul's character, who is very critically relying on his fighting arts and weapon masteries...
Yep. Because he turned us into he frenzied us so often.
Every time you take brain damage, which is taking damage against your insanity, you get a frenzy, or not a frenzy token, but
just a token, a brain token or whatever it's called.
And then for every time you do that, he does the whatever brain thing. It's monster level. So you take 3. If you hit 3, you frenzy. Frenzy, you lose the ability to use all of your secret fighting arts and all of your weapon masteries.
Yeah.
So
and you can't use survival at all.
Yeah.
So you can't dodge, you can't surge, you can't dash, you can't encourage.
Nope. Which is critical to
Yes.
pretty much everything in that game, because you don't really get any rerolls or anything like that. You just sort of like dodge. So he fucked everyone up real fast. I was, I think, the last person.
No, you 100% were.
And I was doing okay.
Yep.
Until it just was.
What happened is that
I turned into Goku, I guess.
Well, and not just that too, is that for the longest time he kept frenzying other people, not you, so that let you be able to dodge or stuff like that. Yeah. The one time he hit you and you took the brain damage, then you're like, all right, well now I'm just going to take as much as I can, and you had like 7 speed,
7 strength.
7 strength. It was ridiculous.
I was already still wounding on a 2+.
Yeah.
Because his toughness isn't hard.
No, it's just he does 3. He also had bloodthirsty. No, he had something that let him do an extra attack. Oh, it was one of his moods that every time he had, every time you wounded him,
frenzied, whatever.
So every time you wounded him, you put a token on there, and then every 2 wounds would cause him to do a basic attack at the beginning of his turn.
Yep.
And you were doing that easily. And so every turn, he basically did 4 attacks.
Because in general, he just draws 3 AI cards,
which are goddamn annoying.
Yes, they're all terrible. There's one that's called Bite, where he just tries to bite your head off, and and you just take a severe head injury.
Yep.
Which is like you're dead on a 1 through 5.
1 through 4.
1 through 4.
Yeah.
So he killed all of us.
Yep.
And I think we did another like hunt or something like that.
We did a level 3
lion
or antelope something like that.
Yeah.
And that ended up hurting people and killing a couple. And then we're like, man, this we're
running thin.
We're running thin. And we also saw that because we already killed the Watcher, the next new quarry we had to quarry, sorry. The next core we had to fight was the Goldsmoke Knight at 30, and that was like 7 lantern years away, and we're like...
And it's about an hour per showdown.
Yeah.
So...
more or less, yeah. And so we're like, let's... Because we were talking about after this campaign, starting the new one with the dragon...
People of the Sun?
People of the Stars.
Stars.
Yes.
Constellations.
Yes. So we're like, all right, we'll put this one on pause, and we'll start that.
Yep.
So we started that.
We did the quick start where we skipped the prologue lion because it's not worth fighting.
Yeah.
It just rolls a die for like what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just start a new settlement. And then we just go on and fight another level 1 lion.
Yep. Which
Easy peasy.
Wouldn't you know it, Adrian? When you have no gear and no weapons, things are hard again.
Yeah, things are way harder again.
You don't say.
So
I do say.
So we've been playing for weeks with like hitting on 2+, 4+,
Yeah.
wounded on 2+, or 4+ on something really difficult. And now we're back to like
7+.
7s and 8s and 7s and 8s again to wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and not having any armor, so you're like, oh, something does 2 damage to me?
Well,
that is a heavy wound on me now.
Yeah. And we kept getting the lion that gets enraged, which adds +1 damage, which basically turns it into a level 2 lion for every other respect.
Yeah.
And that happened in both of our lion hunts.
Didn't you have something weird, just to clarify, in this campaign way back at the start, didn't you have something where you like reset lantern years,
Yes.
but not gear?
Yes.
Correct.
So you were
100%.
just, for most of this campaign, you've probably been a bit over level.
100%.
Everything.
Extremely.
Extremely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got the Clinging Mists, which on like a 8, 9, or 10, or a 9 or 10, if you don't have the guidepost, you either skip next hunt with all those characters.
No, you immediately do another hunt.
Oh, you immediately do another hunt. Or you reset everything to 0 and start a whole new settlement as you come across a different settlement, and now it's yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one, I don't remember which lion hunt it was, but at one point, the lion kept grabbing me and just disemboweling me and
Grasp.
torn muscles on my leg and dragging me away while you all just watched.
He did a lot of attacks that we couldn't really do anything about. I think we moved closer, but it was just sort of him running away with you in its mouth, with all of your
every turn it was just a new severe injury.
yeah, it was real rough.
Yep.
So
About 2 or 3 years into that one, because at least those were quicker.
So we immediately had 2 people die
Due to murder, or was that a different thing?
I think it was murder, and it was also the person that had gotten the free luck off of some random, which is crit, which is critical.
Yeah.
Especially early.
Oh, it was like murder and then rivalry or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, these 2 people hate each other, and then they fight, and then the guy that got the luck died.
And
we're like,
it was like me and Paul's character, and like Paul's character in the original rivalry had gotten like a severe injury that really sucked. And then in like the post rivalry, he ended up killing me.
Yeah.
And so we had just a really shitty person and then a dead normal person.
Yep.
And then we did another hunt and just got stomped again. And we ended up with like 4 people left. And we're like, all right, let's restart. That took us an hour. So let's do it again.
Oh, jeez.
So campaign 3 of the day is did not go much better.
No, it did not.
We ended up getting the lion cub hunt event, which we murdered the lion cub for resources, which are critical in the early campaign. But then we rolled that its mother saw us do it, and then it immediately became enraged.
Yeah.
And so we were basically fighting a level 2 lion the whole time.
Yeah, it did
with
not go well.
Nope. And I think that wiped us.
Yep.
Then we tried again, and we're like, let's do a gorm.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lot of good resources. Also didn't go very well. It hiccups, it like moves back to, and then like vomits acid all over the place, which we didn't have any armor for it to go through, so it only really did 1 damage, which is nice. Where the level 3 one, it's just like it just does a severe to you.
Yeah.
And wiped 3 people on that one too.
Mm-hmm.
And then it only had 2 health left, and it was me. And I probably rolled 8 dice, maybe 10 dice. Also, while taking constant severe injuries.
Yes. But you kept getting a 10.
I kept critting the severe injuries. I rolled probably 4 criticals on the severe injuries.
Which, when you roll a 10, is just you fell down. And so every time you roll, we just like, yeah, woo!
There's a lot of cheering.
Yeah.
Because all I had to do was wound it once and then whip my founding stone, which is an auto crit. As long as it's not a trap.
Yep.
Which is definitely what happened against the lion.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's right. It did. He whipped a founding stone, and then the trap came up.
Yep. It's just like, haha, clever ploy. Your wound is canceled, and I'm going to fuck you up.
Yep.
So the Gorm, I was just with my little knife, just really kind of Drax, just like, I'll get it from the inside. But then it ate me.
Yep. And so that whole party wiped, and we're like, "Oh, do we just start again?"
And I think we just ended the day there.
Yeah.
That was probably around.
I would
6
like
o'clock.
to not start again, just because I feel if we get into this, then we're only gonna every time we get a hiccup, it's gonna be like, well, not literal hiccup like that one, but it'll be like, oh, well, let's just start again. So I feel like, I mean, working through all that crap is obviously part of the game.
I think but we also lost 2 people early on that one to murder. I think it was rivalry in the first one, and then it was murder in this one. So the murderer killed someone, and then we killed the murderer.
And basically how we narrated that was because you killed him, and then it was our first death ever, and so we decided to do graves, and so it's
instead of cannibalism,
and so we just the murderer already dug the grave, and the person's like, what's this
Paul
doing here?
Paul was the murderer and then rolled the die for the graves table the first time you do a grave and got a luck from that.
Yeah.
And then we're like, hey, didn't you just fucking murder that guy? And then we killed him.
Yeah.
But I've got this memorable scar across my chest. It gives me good luck for his death.
Yeah.
But you fucking killed
You're
him,
the one
man.
that did it.
So we've lost like 6 people off of that one already.
Yeah.
Which we only started with like 10 or 12.
Yeah, so we haven't even gotten into like the actual campaign specific stuff.
No.
Because like it has like some constellation thing that it's like if you get certain things.
And this is the whole new campaign.
Yep.
People of the Stars.
We keep stumbling getting that first step that we're just like, God damn it. So
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how that one goes.
Kingdom Death, still brutal.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing the People of the Stars stuff, though.
Exactly.
It adds like the intimacy, baby creation table is new.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of weird scars and tattoos and stuff that all have like a constellation graph.
Yeah, because you're basically trying to make gods, more or less.
Yeah, you want to make a bunch of really strong people to impress the Dragon King.
Yep.
And then there's like a new throne thing that's in there that you can go up and talk to the dude, but most of the time he just fucking kills you and throws you down the steps.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kingdom Death, new campaign.
And then a new campaign.
Real fresh. Yeah.
And possibly another new campaign.
Yeah, this game is hard again, but still fun. And we're so good at knowing how to play now that all of those really early hunts go really fast now, which is nice.
Yeah. So that's what we've been doing.
Yep.
Right on. Sounds like Kingdom Death.
Continues to be Kingdom Death.
Yeah. Well, on that news, let's move over to some news and Kickstarter.
Woo! First up in news this week, we have Icarus coming in September from the wide world of Renegade Games.
So, Icarus is a collaborative storytelling game about the collapse of a great civilization. And I think, as I describe it here, let me know what you think, because I think this would be a great one for one of our one-shot episodes. So every game begins in a city-nation known as Icarus, where in celebration of all the power and glory of the city-nation, it's decided to erect a massive, ever-growing monument in the center of town to display its prestige. So during the game, you are stacking dice to represent the construction of the monument, drawing cards from a story deck to create escalating events throughout the city, and influencing the outcome of those events. And then when the dice tower finally falls, your civilization falls with it and the game ends. So I think that sounds like a pretty cool one to do for one of those Dread episodes. Stacking a bunch of dice and they'll have the tension of is it going to fall? Is it going to end? And then eventually it just will, and that'll be the episode. But it features a GM-less collaborative storytelling game, world building in a box, that they say is an excellent pairing with other tabletop role-playing games. Stack your failures with this beautiful set of custom dice, and once the dice tower falls, so does your civilization, because that's a feature somehow. Contains 20 Icarus dice, 12 Pillars of Society cards, 5 Motive cards, 12 Cracks in Our Facade cards, 12 Rifts Between Us cards, 12 Final Hours cards, 1 Bitter End card, and then 50 sheet aspect pad. so that you can kind of use, I think, to make your characters. Plays 2 to 5 players, takes 2 to 3 hours. Like, everything about that seems like it would be a great fit for one of those episodes for us.
Well, this comes out in September, so that seems like a good time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Currently $35.
Yeah, I'd have to see how player-centric its game is about telling the story, because it seems like you need some role-playing in there on top of this.
Yeah, which I think would heighten one of those episodes.
Yeah.
I know everybody's favorite thing about this last Dread was the excellent role-playing that Zach did as the Colonel.
Cornwallis.
The Colonel. I don't know.
The third.
Were you a Colonel?
No.
Okay.
No.
He called me the Colonel.
I did.
Okay.
In jest.
Yeah.
It all blended together. But yeah.
And it was indeed wildly inconsistent.
Yes, it was. I made one promise. That was it.
But yeah,
You didn't mislead us, Zach.
No.
So that's Icarus. Might be coming to a Mile High Game Guy's table
Yeah, seems neat.
and your ears in the future.
It's no Tales of Arabian Nights.
No.
Or just Arabian Nights.
Also no.
Correct.
Next up is Smartphone Inc. is getting a wide release after being real small and apparently real good.
Yeah. So not just getting a wide release, it is officially the newest addition to the Dice Tower Essentials line, which is a line of games personally curated by Tom Vassell for Arcane Wonders.
Arcane Wonders, yes.
Yeah, who will be bringing it to the States. So it originally debuted last year in Essen, was fairly small but pretty popular. I know Heavy Cardboard did a stream, and I've been hearing some really good things. In the article here, they compare it to Food Chain. They say it's like a Food Chain Magnate Light. Strong but elegant economic game for 2 to 5 players. All about manufacturing and selling cell phones around the world. It's got some unique like kind of action selection things where you're moving like 2 pads, and the things you leave showing are actions you get, and the things you cover up are like income and bonuses for your turn. And so you can do things like changing how much you're selling your phones for, researching new tech, spreading and selling to other areas on the world map, things like that. Yeah.
Seems like it's got player screens for like hidden information.
Mm-hmm.
Really good components all around, supposedly. Dual layered cardboard, all kinds of brightly colored pieces of like good quality clear plastic bits.
It's got a good style.
Yeah. I really like the art style. Victor Miller Gausa. I don't know who that is, but I like his art style for the cover of that box.
Yeah, the box cover looks good.
So getting a wide release, so it should be available. 1 to 5 players, about hour and a half to play. No word yet on what the price will be when it retails here in the States. So
I'm guessing around $60.
probably seems to be the going rate. So yeah, Smartphone Inc. I'm pretty excited for this one. I've heard good things. I'd like to give it a try.
I heard Chad, I think it was Chad talking about how good the game looks.
Yeah.
But that's the
Yeah.
only thing I've really heard about it.
I think what Nick was saying, or some people are
I
saying
think
that,
Nick wasn't as impressed
Yeah,
with it.
that,
Like the Food Chain Light made it maybe too light.
yeah, or that there wasn't enough variability in terms of like different paths you could go to try and win. They're like, if you go this way, you have the best chance of winning, or something like that. So,
Gotcha.
Who knows?
Well, who knows if it might get massaged a little to be more open in victory paths.
Yeah.
Next up in news this week, we have Godzilla, the card game, which is coming from like straight up Bandai, which is weird because like Namco Bandai merged for video games, but I guess Bandai must still exist in the like tabletop universe.
I guess so.
Or Namco has them as like a subsidiary that still owns rights to a handful of things or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
But this is old ass Godzilla.
yes. So this is all the old Godzilla and all of the old like art styles for all of Godzilla's friends. So it's going to have Mothra, Rodan, King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, and Jet Jaguar, which Jet Jaguar is the only one don't think I've actually heard that name before.
He's the guy in the bottom left of the cover.
Okay. Definitely don't recognize him.
He sort of looks like an off-brand Ultraman.
Yes, he does. Yeah, that's the name I was trying to think of.
Sure.
But it's still got shit like Destroya and Rodan. Did you say Rodan?
He did.
I did
Okay.
say Rodan.
It's got all of that crazy like
All
Godzilla
those
2000
kaijus.
shit
Yeah,
in there. Yeah.
Okay. But kind of the thing I think is most interesting about this and why I want to talk about it is they've got a whole new system that they're using called Chrono Clash game system that was created by Ryan Miller, who worked on Magic the Gathering and was the lead designer for Duel Masters and Kaijudo, which I'm not familiar with either one of those. But instead of traditional turn-based play in this system, there's a single power resource track that as you take actions, it moves it along that track. And at certain points on the track, it becomes the other player's turn. So like, I think you could do like a really powerful action, but it's going to launch that track like maybe way into the other player's turn to where they could have a chance to do a bunch of small actions. So kind of almost like a rondelle kind of a thing where you can jump out way ahead, but then you got to wait for everybody to catch up before it's your turn again. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds kind of interesting.
That sounds like it'd be cool.
Yeah, it's $50. 2 to 4 players. Says 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be sets. The first set will have 4 pre-constructed 50-card decks, and then a 16-card sideboard and 24 double-sized cards that I think are going to be like locations, 4 turn sequence cards, and 4 player mats. So
yeah. So this is the good version of the Chrono Crash that's coming out this summer. There is going to be a game using that system coming out.
Yeah, Boruto.
Boruto.
Oh, Boruto. No. No.
Boruto.
What's Boruto?
It's his
and why
son.
Like,
It's his son.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's like a kid when it starts, and then he grows up and like gets his arm cut off, and then he has a kid.
Yeah.
And now it's the kids show.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And he's like Naruto, except he's already good at stuff.
Yeah. I'm gonna be the best. Wait, I'm already the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, the important to note, unlike, say, the legendary system where you can kind of mix and match certain things, Godzilla will not be compatible with Naruto Boruto.
No, it will not.
I can't do Boruto versus Godzilla.
No. But yeah, so Godzilla coming out here in the future.
Yeah. It seems neat as long as it doesn't go any sort of CCG route.
Yeah, and $49.99 for that first base set.
Yeah. It's not the worst. All right. Let's move on to Kickstarters. Starting in Kickstarters this week with Water's Edge. Just funded $4,800 of its $3,800 goal. 113 backers. Just over 2 weeks left to pledge, which you can for $25.
Yeah, so this is another one that was sent to us by V. She sends us links to Kickstarters occasionally on Twitter and stuff. And so she sent us Water's Edge. It's a fairly small indie game where like the artist, she's been doing this art for a while and then made a card game to go with it. And so it's a pretty simple little card game, 2 to 4 players, art by, and the game by Catherine Redgate, who's running the Kickstarter here. And basically the game is going to cycle through day and night where you're going to be like managing this little fishing town, casting nets to catch fish, storing them in the ice house, and then moving them out to go feed town folk as different buildings and things grow. And you have to keep an eye out for storms, whales, and seagulls that will all kind of try to ruin your day as you're catching fish.
Land, sea, and air.
Land, sea, and air attack. Yes, there you go. It's a tactical card game, 2 to 4 players. Takes 20 to 45 minutes to play. And the base objective is just to get as many points as possible. And you get those by collecting, preserving, and then selling fish, and by expanding the town. Gameplay lasts for 1 week, with each day being 6 rounds. So 42 rounds of play, 4 daytime, 2 nighttime each time. Different actions are available during the day and during the night. So you kind of got to play strategically. Full moon cards at night can let you play day cards during the night sometimes, things like that. Yeah.
It's got a good style. I like the art a lot.
Yeah, the art's real cool. She's got a real, like, kind of a simple style.
Yeah.
I feel bad calling that simple because, like, it's really good. It's not simple. Like, it's not like, oh, anybody could do that art.
I don't know. It's got like a real nice children's art book look to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It looks kind of good. There's a little bit more info through there, more examples of different cards and buildings and things like that, and how you play and what different things do to kind of walk you through it.
It's got a really cool enamel mug you can get for it, and face masks.
Yeah, they got all kinds of weird stuff you can get as add-ons.
If you want to be a criminal, this is be original and need some face masks with some cool fish on them.
Yes, some hand-drawn Water's Edge fish.
Yeah, it looks neat.
So yeah, thanks for sending that our way, V. We appreciate it.
Indeed. Next up on Kickstarter is Company of Heroes, the board game. This one is very well funded, $444,000 of its $100,000 goal. Thanks for having an actual goal that's a number it takes to actually make this game. 2,900 backers. About 2 weeks left to go. Its most popular pledge being $195.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
For everything.
So this is basically going to be our $100 miniature game of the week, especially because it's the last game we're going to cover for Kickstarter. But the base set is $99, so it's not quite $100 miniature game of the week, but basically.
I mean, you can just round up; it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, especially because shipping. But yeah, so this is a full-on Command and Conquer.
RTS, real-time strategy.
Company of Heroes, not Command and Conquer.
It is Company of Heroes, which was a real-time strategy game for the personal computer.
And they are bringing it licensed by Sega in cooperation with Relic.
Yes, Relic was the developer who got bought out by Sega at one point or another.
But it's going to include all of the things you love about real-time strategies. Fog of War, utilizing cover and buildings, flanking armor, spotting, multi-unit tactics, upgrades, deciding what units to purchase, what buildings to unlock. All of that down into a board game somehow. Comes with just a shit ton of minis.
4 different factions from World War II.
Yep. Some of these minis look like toy soldiers.
Yes.
Like the little itty-bitty toy soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that green bazooka guy looks a lot like just a normal toy soldier.
Yeah.
Not the most detailed. They look like they're all renders right now, so maybe they'll improve the detail going forward. But the detail of the minis doesn't look great.
Well, it also looks like they'll be
kind of the point.
Fairly small, too.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get something super detailed when it's like 1.5 centimeters tall.
You're not wrong.
They are 15 millimeter scale.
Yeah, 1.5 centimeters. That's what I fucking said.
1/120th scale.
Yeah. One of their early stretch goals, 261K. They are including transparent plastic resource caps. And for at least the first board, they are removing all of the pre-printed resource and victory markers. So you'll add those back on with the clear tokens, but people wanted the maps to be really artsy and mappy and customizable, I guess. So, you get a couple different options when you play it. The PC game's real-time strategy, there is, you can play real-time using command point system, or you can play turn-based. Both of them seem to work. They claim both keep the game moving quickly with little downtime. Like real-time strategy. You're purchasing units, building buildings, all of those things, trying to control that map.
And it's basically flags that are out on the map, just like the computer game that you're trying to hold, and you get points for holding them for longer turns and things like that.
Yeah, mostly diceless combat. I don't know exactly what they mean by mostly. Like, do the dice just add a small modifier to what is predominantly between the troops? Like, or do you only very rarely even roll? Like, I don't know.
I know. I'm going to assume that it's you roll a dice, and only on certain results do you actually use dice for combat. Otherwise, you do other things for combat.
That seems like the logical way to handle
yes,
it.
It does.
I could see it being like soldiers just shoot each other, but like, oh, you fired a rocket, it's going to have a little bit of variable damage because of the way the explosion works. So roll to see exactly how much damage. But I don't know. I'm just speculating, talking out my ass. As you run around the board, you can collect munitions and things that you can use to upgrade your troops, better equipment, combat experience, things like that, to get veteran abilities, all that kind of stuff. You have a commander who has special units that will kind of help adapt your strategy around a little bit.
Yeah, and in the game, it works like you chose a certain general, and that general has access to certain, or as you played, you would unlock like skill points, and you could put those into going down different trees. One tree could end at like getting the Tiger tank. The other tree will end at getting like the V2 rocket, and then you'll be able to use those as like end game units.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Looks cool. I read through the
actually kind of does.
Yeah. I read through the rule book a little bit on this one. I mean, it's very expensive, but it seems like it'd be a neat game. There's a whole bunch of like actual like 3D terrain tiles, buildings and
like
stuff
the
they're making for it.
The flag points have like shit all around them, like boxes and barrels and
things. Like the cover system in the game was very important. I'm sure there's some sort of mechanic in here about like sandbags or fences, etc., like light, medium, heavy.
They
cover.
mention it up there in the top in the
Yeah.
description. So a bunch of tutorial videos, things like that, a draft rule book that, like I said, Jeff was looking at there. So
It
plenty
very
of stuff
much
to check out.
It very much passed the smell test on the rulebook too, so it looked pretty final.
Yeah.
Company heroes.
Indeed.
I don't know who Bad Crow Games is though.
Mine either.
It's their second project. It's doing well. Last up in Kickstarters this week, we have Iron Clays. These are kind of poker chips. Very well funded. $276,000 of its $60,000 goal. Almost 3,000 backers. Probably more than 3 at the time of this recording.
Well, at the time right now as you're reading this, it's 278 and 3,019.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah. Still a week left to go. Its most popular pledge being for 200 chips and $72.
Yep. So this is the long-awaited Iron Clay specific Kickstarter. So Iron Clays originally came about in the Brass Kickstarter, and you could get a few of them. The deluxe editions of Brass came with like 77 or some weird number.
Is that the ones that you have?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have those in both of my brasses, my brass eye, as some people say. So I have the 77 of each in those. But then I also, in that Kickstarter, you could pledge a little bit extra to get a full set of 100. And so I pledged extra and got 2 full sets of 100. So I have the 77 in each of my 2 brass. And then I have 2 sets of 100 of the base set that I used for other games that I play.
So you have a lot of poker chips in those.
So I have like 300 and some chips. Yes.
300 and some. 354, but yeah.
Thank
No,
you.
I know. I just like, you're like 300.
No, I saw him struggling too, and I wanted to tell him.
I mean, I didn't even try. I was
I
just
know.
like, 300 and some. That's close enough. It's an amount. Somebody can do math.
I think it's called counting.
Yeah.
So
It's not math.
it is definitely math. Counting is math.
Some would disagree.
Some would be wrong. Anyhow, almost immediately after that Kickstarter, one of the complaints people had is they didn't have the higher chip counts, and they're like, well, it doesn't really make sense for brass. They're like, we might look into doing another set later.
Because the highest for brass is what? 25?
50s? 25s? 50s? Something like that.
Okay.
Or no, they might even have the hundreds. I think they have the hundreds. Or maybe not in the brass themselves, but I know in my
In that
sets
extra
that I
set
do,
that
those
you
extra
got.
sets, I have hundreds. Because I almost had enough to play like 1889. I was just a few short, so I grabbed some of my mini poker chips and used those for like 5,000s or something.
100 and then 5,000?
Yup.
Okay.
No, I think I did 100, and then I did like a couple of the minis of one color for 1,000 and like 1 or 2 for the 5,000.
Okay.
I don't know. I made it work. But it wasn't ideal, and a lot of people felt that. And so finally, here's the Kickstarter for the full sets of Iron Clays. They've got a bunch of different pledge levels depending on how many you want to get. So if you want to get like the original set, which is what I have, it's 100 chips. It's $39. And you get, 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s, and 100s. There's been some drama about whether they should have been 20s or 25s. I'm totally fine with them being 20s. The only thing I could do without is I don't need a fucking 10. Like 1s, 5s, 20s, 100s would have been great. And they give a list with all of these different pledges of like all of the different games that you could play with these. Like with the 100 set, anything from Seven Wonders, Age of Industry, down in here, Crusaders Thy Will Be Done, Diamant, Great Western Trail, Isle of Skye, Raiders of the North Sea, Small World, things like that. So a whole bunch of different games. And then you can go up from there all the way up to some of their more fancier ones.
There's like a wooden box edition that comes with fancy cards.
There are 2 wooden box editions. There is the Iron Clays 200 Wooden Chest Edition. It's $200. You get 200 chips and 2 decks of their fancy cards that they apparently had a cardist who's like somebody who specializes in card tricks help design, and they've got really cool art similar to the Iron Clays.
A proprietary thin stock preferred by cardists.
Yeah. So they're going to probably feel thin, but I guess that's really good for being able to do card
manipulate them. Yeah.
manipulation. The bottom drawer comes out and it serves as the bank tray. that's meant to be very minimalist in design, and indeed, like looking at it, there's not a lot of extra around it. It's pretty pared down. Then you can go up even higher. You can
400 set.
Yeah, you can go to the 400 in a printed box for $135, or you can go 400 in a wooden chest with 2 removable trays.
$275.
Yeah. So not specifically cheap. They've got a chart where you can use, like, based on what you had before, you can work out what you should order to get to different amounts. I am in mine. I think I worked out that I'm going to be getting the just the 200 printed box edition. So it'll be one. So I'll basically have 3 boxes. I'll have each of my 2 100s and 1 box for my 200, which will be nice because, like, depending on what I want to play, I can just grab whichever set I need.
And it's still a nice magnetic box.
Yeah, and the way it worked out best for me is on any of these pledges, they have like a set bank that they're including, but you can throw an extra like $30, I think it is, onto it to customize what chips come in your specific set. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the 200 for $70, throwing the extra 30 to customize it and make it to where it matches with my 200s to give me, like, basically I'm throwing in a lot of higher chips and ditching the 1s and the fucking 10s because fuck the 10s.
Yeah. So one of the complaints in the wide world of Slack has been color.
Yes. So, and it's not just our Slack channel, it's all over. The heavy cardboard Slack had a big, like, the heavy cardboard Slack, I heard, got fucking mean about this. And it was drama back when they made them for brass. It's shown up again with this.
Seems like a lot of people have some strong opinions on what specific colors poker chips should be
for different denominations.
Yes.
Because there's basically a standard in casinos and things.
It seems like there's a standard pretty much across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think one of the big problems that people have is they made the 10s like a reddish color, like kind of a brownish red, and they made the 5s like a light blue, and then the 20s are like a dark blue. Well, normally 5s are red, and then 10s don't really exist that much, and then 20s are like green.
But I mean, I've seen like,
and I think the 10s are usually blue.
10s
so
are usually
like
blue, and then
those.
20 or 25 are green.
Yeah, about the only time they went with standard colors was the ones that are kind of the white/gray.
And then 100 is black usually, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't see hundreds very often with real poker chips.
You would not know, is what you're saying.
That is correct. I'm very familiar with 1s, 5s, and 25s. Yeah, I've never had an issue for me, like, especially with their styling and design. They're so different. Like, I don't think of them as poker chips, and the number's printed right on it, so it's not like I've ever been like, oh, let me pay more or less or whatever. I've never had an issue with it. Another complaint I've heard, like, I know this was one of Nick's complaints. He thinks, playing with them, he thinks they're a little slippery compared to actual ones, and he thinks they feel kind of plasticky. Again, that's never anything I've noticed. I've played with poker chips in casinos in like 7 states, I think, including Vegas on the Strip. These are some of the nicest chips I've ever used. I'm a big fan of them. So I'm definitely throwing like $100 at them.
When I played brass, I use them, and I think they're very nice.
Yeah.
I don't have any attachment to the color controversies, but I think these are good.
Like I'm fine playing with them brass, but I don't have any need of using them outside of brass. So
no.
I mainly want them because I'm starting to get into 18XX, and I want a bank for 18XX.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to get a bank, I might as well get a bank I really like the aesthetics of, and I love the aesthetics for these.
Yeah.
They might not be the bestest. Like Nick in our Slack posted some links to some other ones that were more standard poker chips that were cheaper and also looked really nice. But I already have some of these, and so I'd rather just round out my set.
Yeah. You've got some good styling chips.
Yep. So.
And you can too. You got like 7 days.
Indeed.
Yep.
And that's it for Kickstarters.
That is all the Kickstarter.
I have some pre-fan feedback that has to do with a Kickstarter that's not really going anymore, but something that I saw that was cool. So D-Day Dice 2nd edition was a Kickstarter we talked about like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
A ways ago, yeah.
Yeah, still not out, but they did something really cool for the 75th anniversary of D-Day. In their D-Day Dice 2nd edition, they did a bunch of research about actual soldiers that were fighting on the beaches and did biographies to put on a whole bunch of cards that you can actually use in the game. They hired an artist to do drawings of all these people and wrote up like a biography page for like each soldier that they were putting in the game and what they did during the war and what et cetera, et cetera. Came down to budget wouldn't let them actually fit everything they wanted onto the card. So they released a big war stories collection of all of these people that served during World War II on all sides.
Okay.
And released it for free.
Oh, cool.
And they have like a cool, really neat biography for all of these characters and that are going to be in the game and their portraits that we'll link in the show notes. I read through them. It was super interesting. A lot of cool people in that World War, except that one guy.
I feel like there's more than one, but okay.
Yeah, there's one real bad one.
I mean, you're not wrong.
He's not in the game though, but these neat biographies are.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
There we go.
Moving on to some actual like direct fan feedback,
Yes.
starting with an email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email like Alan did, talking about Magic.
The Gathering.
Specifically.
Just all of his wizarding powers.
Yes.
So just listen to you guys discuss the Magic Netflix show, and I have some things to add. First, Magic has a lot of stories to mine if they want to directly adapt. In addition to most sets having story elements on the cards, there's over 60 novels, which I have seen from here or there, but have, I don't think, ever picked up.
60?
60 novels. I mean, do you know how many
Christ.
Star Wars novels there are? Of course there's fucking
Well,
Magic the
yeah,
Gathering novels.
That's goddamn Star Wars. There's actually like, well, apparently there's a lot of lore and backstory in Magic too.
Yeah,
but
there is. The first set with a real plot was Antiquities, which is the second expansion ever and came out in 1994. Planeswalkers are characters who travel between worlds, and they have been the main protagonists of the story for about 12 years now. The most recent set came out, featured a giant battle, between 36 planeswalkers, which is nearly every one of the planeswalkers who are still alive. I'm guessing they just threw them all in a battle just to kill them all off, so they have to make new planeswalkers, and you have to buy new ones.
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. And finally, Ravnica didn't introduce multicolored cards. That was Legends, which was the third expansion that was also released back in 1994. I did misspeak about which I was talking about. Ravnica introduced hybrid cards, not multicolored cards. They were cards that had like weird you could pay a certain color and it would do this, or you could pay a certain color and it would do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You motherfucker.
Fuck me.
Yes.
No clue if the show will be any good, but have some hope based solely on who has been announced to be working on it. Now I shall return to listening to the rest of the episode already in progress.
Thanks, Alan. Glad to see you have recovered enough from your illness
Yeah.
and allergies at Geekway to send us an email.
Yes, definitely.
This next one comes to us from Ben. It's great. Hey, Adrian. You mentioned a camping mattress in the latest Wednesday episode. Could you forward the product/part number if it's not convenient? If it's convenient. No biggie if it's too much of a pain in the ass to dig that info out. Thanks. Jeff and Zach. Hi.
Hi.
So I already sent a reply email to Ben with actual links and everything, but I thought just in case anybody else was wondering what bed it was that Megan spent hundreds of dollars on for car camping, it is the Exped Mega Mat Duo. So Exped is EXPED and then Mega Mat Duo. And you can get it on Amazon, REI, whatever. But it is like $200 to $300. So it's not cheap. But holy fuck, is it comfortable. Once we move the studio, because we're moving the studio, I don't think I've actually mentioned that on air.
No.
I'm just going to drop that bomb and leave it for now.
Right in the fan feedback.
Yeah, great.
We're moving the studio, and when we do, this room that it's in now will go actually be the guest bedroom it's supposed to be, and that air mattress will be the guest bed, and I'm going to be jealous because I think it's more comfortable than my actual bed. So there you go.
Boom.
That's it for emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
Which brings us over to BGG.
So we have one comment, and this is actually from, 2 weeks ago. Boyd, that he actually was. This was on our Geekway recap episode, and he's just letting us know about his first Geekway. This was my first Geekway, so I have a lot of thoughts. Prepare for random thoughts and with no transition. The play and win is a great idea, but I'm obviously biased having won Yokohama. But people seem to really enjoy it, and it's just a fun idea. The library is good, but about a third of the size of the BGG Con library. Granted, Geekway's badge price is quite a bit cheaper. I think it was $60 to $125 or something like that for BGG.
I've never looked at a badge price.
So maybe they didn't have the budget to buy a bunch more games.
I think their library mainly comes out of Miniature Market.
I believe, or Miniature Market hosts their library.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Someone said they flipped the rooms being used for play and win in the library this year. Increasing library room size would help, I think, so that you could stand back from the shelves more and see games buried under the other games. Not a huge deal. That is true. They switched them.
Yep.
Because the more people were in the play and win at any given time.
Yes, than the library.
Than the library. So.
Yeah. Now imagine cramming that huge play and win section into that small library and then jam all of the people that are in there all the time.
Exactly.
I would much rather have be closer to the shelves to look at them than anything.
Agreed. The Thursday night bottle share was great. Definitely a highlight of the con. Wes is still Colorado #1 nice for bringing me Russian River beer. Having Miniature Market at the con with discount prices was awesome. That's where he got us the El Dorado, which we still need to play.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Adrian has to actually bring it.
I'll start bringing it to game night. I didn't know I was supposed to.
Oh, that's your fault for not knowing.
You just gave me a game after a podcast one day.
Yeah. I was like, Boyd got us this to play. And then you're like, all right.
Yeah,
and
I didn't know.
And then you mumbled, well, fuck Boyd then. And then, yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Sounds like me.
I loved how much ballroom space they had between the 3 and 4 ballrooms. It was never hard to find a space to play. And usually you could be picky and find a big old open space to plop down at.
Yes.
Yeah. That's one thing that's always nice is I've never had a problem finding
even in
space.
The main hall.
Yeah,
I've usually been able to find space.
Saturday, prime time on Saturday, it was it's we find 4 space and it's like, I wish we could spread out a little bit more, but you're able to find space somewhere. And then even if you didn't go there, you could go up to any of the ballrooms or the other spaces. So yeah, a lot of space, which I really like.
Got to get in that executive ballroom next year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff, for bringing us lots of beer, and Paul for supplying the cooler. The beer cooler was my most played dexterity game of the convention.
It was a nice cooler.
It was.
You didn't have to unzip it. It had a little Velcro lid right in the middle on
Those
the
are
top.
great.
Yeah.
And at the end of the convention, he thought it was leaking, but it turned out it was just open on a side, and so water was just pouring out. He's like, oh, okay. Southern was very good. Medium was plenty hot for me. I need to try the biscuit next time.
Medium's a good temperature.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like I said, I always get medium and hot, and so that way, because after the one hot, I'm like, I'm good on that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Get a hot breast and then a medium, like the chicken biscuit thing, and so that works out well.
Yeah, hot's going to be a little much, especially with a 3-piece.
Exactly.
I like to maybe steal a little bit of somebody's hot who's a little too much with the hot. And they're this is a little bit much. I'm like, I'll take 2 bites of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll be sweating for the rest of my time here at Southern, but that's okay.
Yep. Paul, Kaiser, Wes, my brother-in-law Doug, and I also ate at a barbecue place close to the convention called Salt and Smoke that had a full bar and patio. The brisket and sides were very good, highly recommended. Between it being a tight street parking space and having an audience of 4, my parallel parking job at Salt and Smoke was uber bad. Kaiser couldn't handle it and got the car out of the street for me.
Wow. I did not hear this story.
I liked just about every game I played, but the highlights were Cryptid, The Great Zimbabwe, 2/3 of an 1870, Tramway, Second Chance, Men at Work, The Game, and Just One. We're Doomed was fun, but I'm glad it was only 15 minutes. It was great hanging out and playing games with everyone. Doug and I both had a lot of fun and hope to come back again. Well, just remember, next year, Adrian's probably going to make it. So watch out.
Adrian will definitely be there next year. And yeah, St. Louis is my town.
I mean, feel free to call dibs on it.
I don't think anyone else is.
Yeah.
Maybe Kaiser.
Maybe.
And that's it.
Yeah. And then continuing the listener feedback, we have some YouTube action coming to us from Paulo's Corner. On our review of Cryptid, Paulo comments, I was underwhelmed by this one. Had heard so many people raving about it, and when I played, I could only think, is that it? What's all the hype about? The game is pretty ugly to me. The gameplay isn't very interesting, and there are several better deduction games out there. Well, that's just like your opinion, man. I liked Cryptid, but I totally get why people don't. It's not going to be one that's for everyone.
Correct.
Maybe half the game is, maybe a third of the game is for everyone, and then the other 2/3 aren't for everyone.
Yeah. That wraps up listener feedback. So if you want to get in touch with us, there are plenty of ways to do so. You can send us an email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can follow us over on Twitter, where I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
We have Facebook and Instagram, both /Mile High Game Guys. You can also jump over to BGG to check out our episode posts that Zach does over there for both the Wednesday and Friday episodes. So go check that out. Feel free to join the guild so you get notified whenever we do those posts. You can follow us over on YouTube, where you can invade Paulo's Corner, youtube.com/milehighgameguys. And if you want to join our Slack channel to hang out and chat with all of us and the other 100 or so fans that are in our Slack channel, good chunk of them lurkers, but hundreds that are there. You can find the link to that in the show notes over at milehighgameguys.com, as well as links to all of the different news, Kickstarters, games, things that we talk about. We put links over there. So plenty of ways to get in touch with us. And if you want to support the show, you can go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/milehighgameguys. And if you like what you see over there, you can pledge some money, like Henrik did. Henrik is our latest patron, pledged 5 whole doll hairs. So thank you.
Is that what they use in the Netherlands for currency?
The doll hairs? I assume.
Okay. I don't know enough about Netherlands currency to disagree, so.
Yeah.
But according to Adrian,
but he's
doll hairs, so.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I was trying to find some kind of Great Dane joke and hair, because they're a big hairy dog, but then doll hairs and dogs don't go to... I lost it.
So they use dog hairs as currency in the Netherlands.
Sure, because they're Great Danes.
Gotcha.
No, I'm just
going to let that awkward silence ride for just a bit more.
You've caused it.
Yeah.
I accept that is true.
Well, thank you for your 5...
Yeah, thanks, Henrik.
Yes, thank you very much.
That you've
5
given
currencies.
us.
5 currencies. I mean, it's $5 US. I don't know what the equivalent is
in fake money.
In whatever, I guess euro. Dane's part of the EU. Denmark is part of the EU. Dane is part of the... Wow.
Yeah.
On that note, let's wrap this up. Be sure to tune in on Friday, where you can hear Jeff interview Jake from Draft Mechanic.
Yeah.
They're going to talk about production of podcasts and being a podcaster and board games.
And he's never been on the show before.
And he's never actually been on the show.
Yeah.
And will continue to not be on the actual show.
No.
We'll get him on a Wednesday here sooner or later,
yeah.
I'm sure. But so that'll be nice. Hopefully y'all enjoy that. And that wraps it up. Thanks as always to our sponsors for these Wednesday episodes, Gray Fox Games. Their game Run, Fight, Die, Reloaded is on its way out to backers from the Kickstarter and is available for pre-order over on their web store. Jeff, you got to see a little bit of it at Gen Con.
Yeah,
but you didn't get to play it.
It was real prototypey there. Kind of just a small table. Kind of ran over how the game works.
Yeah.
Got to see the full thing at Geekway, and
That's what I meant. I meant Geekway when I said Gen Con.
Yes. And looks like a fun
Run around and fight zombies and things.
Yeah, run around, dicey, fight zombie, little push your luck.
Maybe a little more frantic than like a Zombicide.
Yeah.
Catch more of the run, fight, or die.
Yes.
Than the Zombicide, like hang out in the same room and draw 50 item cards before you go out and massacre everything.
Correct.
Yeah.
But definitely that slasher style.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a prepared statement for us?
Of course. Gray Fox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. Also, boss, you were right. It's not about changing the world. It's about doing our best to leave the world the way it is. It's about respecting the will of others and believing in your own.
Yeah, believe in your own will. That's the motto.
Indeed.
That's the episode. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I've been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm D-Day Jeff.
Bye.
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 Punchboard Media, where we all
bring something
to the table.
pull up a chair
At punchboardmedia.com.